882 6PR. This is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley.
Indeed, 922 11882 the number. Going to have a chat to Ben Aylett in just a moment, do all the technology stuff. G'day, Chris.
G'day, Chris. How you going? Yeah, look, interesting conversation you just had there before about urban landfill, and but I did hear you talk about Beaufort Street.
Mm.
So this is and this sort of connects with what you're saying about transport and the train line. I either get the train or I get the bus. I've got an option because I'm right in the middle. This is in Maylands. I can either walk to Inglewood, jump on the bus and go down Beaufort Street, or I can jump on the train and go to the CBD and walk to work, or get the bus up to Bulwer Street. So it's 5 seconds.
Yep.
And it's a. But the thing is, what Mount Lawley train station. This is the main. The problem is Beaufort Street does a big dog leg. What you don't understand, you can only see it on the map. The fact is, every other suburb through the guts of that, Maylands, Bayswater, Bassendean, all the way up through Guildford, they're all on the train line. Mount Lawley isn't. It's a good kilometre and a half away from.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I am familiar with the area.
Yeah. So what you? The thing is, I go through Mount Lawley train station almost every day, and nobody gets on, and maybe one or two people get off. Whereas at Maylands, like 50 people get off. The fact is nobody utilises it because there's nothing there. You've got Jack Stanbridge's hobby shop, or used to, and that's gone. There's just nothing there. And the thing is, the problem is that Mount Lawley is, if and there's no way you can probably fix it, but the fact is that if Beaufort Street or the Mount Lawley Centre, where all the food and services and beverages places are, the coffee strip there, if that was near a train station like Maylands, it'd go through the roof. And I can't really see it.
Well, maybe one of the areas, and this would be an area I'm guessing that they might be considering, and they're talking about light rail, that might be part of the consideration. Well, at least long term anyway. It must be time to catch up with Ben Aylett. He's identified by AE's website, benaylett.com. 1 L, 2 T's and Aylett. Also identified by his Hawaiian shirt tonight. He's looking rather red, which is probably positive because at least you're not feeling blue.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Weather is not getting me down. Actually,
weather never gets you down, would it?
No, it doesn't. And especially today, it was fantastic weather. So there you go.
Yeah, mind you, don't get used to it.
Well, no, there's nothing as certain as change.
No.
How's that? There you go. You put that in the bank.
I'm almost impressed by that. There is nothing as certain as change.
Yep.
But the question is, by the way,
yes,
you have written a really interesting article. One thing I do like about you, Ben, is you do occasionally have the ability to get to the point and remove all ambiguity from what you say. On Ben Aylett this week, I read, "Dear NBN, get stuffed." Mate, that tells me straight away you're not happy.
Well, look, NBN, as it stands at the moment, what they're doing right now, it's okay. They're mostly getting the job done as promised. What really
it's
fired
okay.
me up,
You're not inspiring me with. You're not convincing me, Ben.
Well, look, when things go right, they go right. But when things go wrong, man, they really go sideways.
Yeah, but mate, I would imagine that when you're talking about something like that, things should only go sideways every so often.
Yeah.
In other words, going sideways should be so rare that we talk about that and we talk about one or two isolated incidents.
Yep, that's right.
But we're not talking about one or two isolated incidents.
No, well, not in this case anyway. So this one, it's a big one. So what they've done is the NBN have been having a bit of a pricing review with the retail service providers, otherwise known as our internet service providers. So our Telstras, Optus's, iiNets, Westnets, all the rest of it. So the NBN has been doing some sort of a survey or looking for industry feedback. And one of the things they've come up with is put crudely, is a Netflix tax. So what the actual quote from the review is, would your organisation support the development of a price response whereby charging of streaming video could be differentiated from the charging of other traffic or services? Would your organisation be likely to productise, stupid word, such a mechanism if developed by NBN? In short, it means the NBN is saying, hey, telcos, how about we charge people who want to stream Netflix reliably or quickly or just basically stream any sort of media? How about we make it so they have to pay a little extra in order to get a service capable of streaming?
Dear NBN, it is your responsibility to provide the data that we need. If you cannot buy the data that we need, what we need to do is actually go and take a class action against you, because Telstra was required to sell at a peppercorn price its network.
Yep.
And Telstra, for all its faults, certainly had the ability to be able to put in a network and actually knew how to make things work, because they'd been doing it for years and years and years and years.
Yep.
So, dear NBN, get stuffed.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, so what happened after this is that the retail service providers were actually, they had alarm bells ringing as soon as the NBN asked this question. And
they realised what the end game was.
And not just one, but a handful of these retail service providers actually contacted IT News, the Australian IT News organisation, I guess, and they basically leaked this story to them. Now, this was under a confidentiality agreement.
Yep.
And the ISPs said, no, this is well beyond the pale, and we've got to blow the whistle on it. And blow the whistle they did, and they blew it pretty hard. So this has actually gone all over the place just in the last 24 hours. We've even had the Internet Australia chairman, Paul Brooks, weigh in, and he provided a pretty good quote. And he says, NBN is a layer 2 network, a simple pipe between customer and ISP, and should never be looking deeper into the packets to see or care what form of content is being passed through. So basically...
See, wouldn't your retail suppliers, your Telstras, your Optuses, your Vodafones, et al., iiNet, TPG, the whole bit,
yes,
would they not simply be people who would buy X amount of capacity from NBN?
Yep.
They would then supply the service, obviously depending on where the NBN is currently available.
Exactly.
How on earth would the NBN get involved in the whole process? Wholesalers don't get involved in that. Their job is to simply provide the infra. I mean, as I see it, NBN was designed as an infrastructure provider.
Yes.
They were a wholesaler, never to be a retailer.
Exactly.
Yet we seem to be getting very, very involved, and there's lots of frustrating people. ISPs are saying, that's an NBN problem, talk to them. No, sorry. NBN's a wholesaler. I'm dealing with you, my ISP. You fix the problem.
Yep.
And it seems to me the one thing that they did, you know the problem with the NBN? It was the government.
Yeah.
If the government wanted the NBN, they should have, and the obvious people were Telstra, they should have just simply modified the universal service obligation to Telstra and said, this is the minimum infrastructure you have to provide.
Yeah.
You have X number of years to do it.
Yeah.
And you have to provide the wholesale services at the same price to all of your competitors, so you can't use your market dominance to squeeze other people out of the market.
Exactly.
So you could protect them from a competition basis, which, let's face it, we've never really done a good job of in this country anyway. The other thing you then would have done is you would have had the circumstances where the first thing Telstra would have done is they would have put the NBN in on a most needed to least needed basis. So the people in areas that really needed it because they had very, very bare bones, barely adequate ADSL or nothing at all, would all of a sudden been the priority places that Telstra would have done first. It would have done it on a needs basis and not been political about it.
Instead of pork barrelling, they would have been providing.
Exactly.
Yes. And
they had the technology to be able to do it. Geez, this stuff makes me mad.
Join 6PR's footy tipping for your chance to win. Congratulations to Adam Zissis, 6PR's top tipster for round 15, who tipped a perfect round and the closest winning margin. This year's winning tipster will take home 10 grand. Thanks to Wangara Honda. Book your next service at Wangara Honda and they'll include a loan car, wash and vacuum, plus 6 months roadside assist free. And don't forget, for your chance to win 10 grand, enter your tips now at 6pr.com.au.
If you're over 50 and looking for a travel insurance discount for your next trip, visit 50upclub.com. For a limited time, you can receive 17% off any Insure and Go travel insurance policy, and there's no extra cost for children and grandchildren under 18 travelling with their parents or grandparents. Insure and Go considers all pre-existing medical conditions online or over the phone, and you can travel with comfort, knowing you'll have access to the largest 24/7 assistance network globally. Get this discount at 50upclub.com.
Insure and Go Travel Insurance is issued by Mitsui Sumitomo Insurance Company Limited. Any advice is general in nature and does not take into account your personal circumstances or needs. Please consider the PDS at insureandgo.com.au.
50upclub.com.
I'll grab a few people I know. We'll mark out some places to go. There's no invitation, just a destination, and that's the best freedom I know. When we jump in the Jayco, jump in the Jayco. When we jump in the Jayco.
Albany Highway, Cannington.
At Homestart, we love to help out renters. So this month, we will be giving away $5,000 to 5 lucky renters. If you are currently renting and would like the chance to win, simply head to homestart.net.au and register on our promotions page. Just think how much sooner you could be in a home of your own if you're one of our lucky winners. Homestart, we are the first home buyer specialists. Terms and conditions apply. BC 6415.
Hi, Luke Ryan here. Going fishing? Then come in and see us at my Tackle West store in Cannington, right next door to the Harley Davidson shop. We have an awesome range of quality products, so you'll definitely get all the right tips. Hooks, line, bait, rods, and we specialise in lure fishing with thousands of lures to choose from. For spot-on advice, come in and see us at Tackle West. You'll catch more fish. Get serious at Tackle West, William Street, Cannington, next door to Harley Davidson.
Whether you want to try crewing on yachts or just enjoy delicious food and amazing views of the Swan in our spectacular bar and restaurant, secure your corporate, senior, social or gym membership now at East Fremantle Yacht Club, efyc.com.au.
Until midnight, this is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley on 882 6PR.
Ben Aylett is here. Talking technology, benaylett.com is the website. That's where you'll find all of his contact information, by the way.
Yep.
Like to have a chat to Ben. 922 11 882 is the telephone number.
Yep.
G'day, Norman.
Guys, is 1234 calls free? Because I get charged for those. $12, $6, $1 more for each call.
So you want to know if calls to 1234 are free?
Yeah, I get charged for those. Charged.
That's a census number, isn't it, Ben?
On the last bill.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Voice directory services, that is Telstra. Just doing a quick search. Yeah, well, if they are charging, let's see. That's operator assisted search. Yeah.
Visual disability, visual impairment, can't find numbers. So you call
okay. I would think about going to 12551, which is the disability helpline.
Yeah.
Right, that's a
125, is it?
yeah, 12551.
Yep.
That's
Is it free or is it a free number?
It's a disability helpline. What it says, and you'd need to ask Telstra about this, but what it says is this specialised service assists Telstra customers with a disability or special requirement to access national directory information.
It's 12551, is it?
That's right.
Yeah, 12551. I'd give that a try first. If we're asking questions about whether they're charging or not, I would say they'd be more likely to not charge 12551 than they would be to charge 1234. So, 1234 would possibly be charged.
Give them a call, and I think the caveat here, though, is you have to be a Telstra customer. That's as I read it. This specialised service assists Telstra customers.
Yeah, are you calling from a Telstra service when you call 1234? You are?
Yes,
Ask the question.
Yeah,
definitely.
They would be the people best equipped to answer that sort of a question, mate.
I think so. Thanks, Norman. At 922 11 882, if you'd like to have a chat to Ben. Also, I'd like to know some of these services that you've received. For example, how much do you use streaming services? I think most people use streaming services, don't they?
Although
I cannot believe they went down that path. And also, how are you going to measure it?
Yeah.
And why would Netflix do something which is going to cost their customers more?
Oh, look,
They're not going to do it.
Netflix would not go for that at all. There'd be some sort of a legal fight about how data should be treated equally regardless of where it's coming from. There would be problems because that would impact the bottom line of streaming services because people would say, look, I'm going to be charged extra for it. I'm not going to bother. I don't need Netflix or I don't need Foxtel. I don't need any of these services that are being streamed over because it's now just become way too expensive.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go over to Jono's place and we'll watch it all together down there. And that could really impact the bottom line of streaming services.
No doubt about that. Hello, Charlie.
Yeah, how you going?
Good, mate.
Things. Telstra, I've received money back off them a number of times.
Yep.
One was due to finishing a contract off, a phone rental agreement contract, and I had the phone for another year now, billing me for the phone and the use of the service.
Oh, right.
Right?
Yeah.
So they had to refund me for 5 phones at work, right?
Wow.
Which is over $2,000 because
nice.
legally they can't keep charging you for a phone that you paid for.
Yes.
And a lot of people fall into that trap. I had issues the other couple of weeks ago with broadband,
Yeah.
right? And I actually am with iiNet, right, for work.
Mm-hmm.
And it is such a nightmare because there was a Telstra line fault, right? And Telstra are responsible for the line.
Yep.
And between them and iiNet, and you cannot go to the Ombudsman and lodge a complaint. If I do, I've got to lodge it against iiNet, even though it's a Telstra fault.
Okay, before you go any further, who are you with, Charlie? And the reason why I'm asking this is because I want to explain something. Which ISP are you with?
That one was with iiNet.
Right, okay. Regardless of whose fault it is, if iiNet are your service provider, your ISP, they are responsible. Now, it may well be it's a Telstra fault, but if that's the case, that's an issue between iiNet and Telstra, because in this instance, Telstra is not a retailer, it's a wholesaler, and that's somebody that iiNet deals with. So if you had to go to the Telecommunications Industry Ombudsman, your issue is with iiNet. If iiNet turn around and say it's a Telstra problem, that's when you literally put your hands up and say, yeah, but that's
Telstra
not my
turned
problem.
up 4 times to fix it and kept on blaming it on iiNet.
Well, it doesn't matter. iiNet are the people who are responsible.
I know, but that's the ridiculous system.
Oh, look, I absolutely agree. But the problem...
Even the technician wouldn't even bother to ring me with the courtesy of saying, is it fixed?
Yep. Yeah.
He had to pass that on to iiNet, and by the time iiNet rang me, a couple of hours later, the fault's still there. And the Telstra guy says, no, it's fixed. Anyway, that's another issue. Anyway, besides that, my wife and myself, right, are now with Optus, just swapped over, right, with our phones, 200 gig each, shareable, so we don't use a landline, right, we've never had a landline, right, we do all our streaming now, right, and we'll never use that much. We'll never use 400 gig.
Oh, you're one of the lucky ones.
So I don't know why everyone doesn't just do it off their mobile phones now.
Well,
and only have a mobile service.
Yeah, there are situations, I mean, like large families. I mean, my kids and wife and kids at home, they gobble the data. It's just, it goes. And we pretty much hit our limit at the end of each month. Because of the area we're in, we can't really get unlimited. I'm still looking into ways that I can defeat that. But look, there are situations where mobile data is great, but in some cases, it's just not going to cut it.
Yeah, but in the vast majority of cases, you're in a good area, a reasonable area.
Yeah. We are getting into that place now where the data caps on mobile plans are actually really, really good. And I can't wait to see where they go next because they can only go up.
Gig.
Yeah.
Not for 10 or 5 or 6, you know.
Yeah, for one
200
person.
200 gig.
Yeah, for one person, that's more than enough for a month's usage.
Well, we've got 500.
And that was cheaper than the plan that I was on previously.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We've got 500 and we never use it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, we stream Netflix and do all sorts of things.
Yeah. So, I mean, a good value out there if people look for it.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is nobody's going to tell you. You know, there was a time when somebody wanted to sell you something. They'd say, hey, Charlie, here's a really good plan. Or somebody would phone up and you'd tell them what you wanted.
Yep.
They go, here's a really good plan for you, Charlie. And you've got plenty of data so you can stream your movies or whatever it is you want to watch. Only trouble is nowadays, if you sign up to something, they're quite happy to keep sending you the bill. You pay it every month, and nobody phones up, and there's no follow-up to say, Charlie, we've just got this new plan. This is going to be perfect for you.
Yeah.
You're a
that's
good
another
customer.
problem,
We're going to flip you onto that plan.
Yep.
What do you reckon? And you go, you beauty, thanks very much for giving me the call.
I remember that. That was awesome.
Telstra did actually automatically upgrade mine. Right, I had only 2 gig of data when I first started on a mobile phone. They upgraded it to 3, then they upgraded it to 5, and then they actually went up to 10 without even me knowing.
Gee, that's all right.
Yeah, that's what you want.
You generally don't hear of that so much anymore. Thanks very much for that, Charlie. But customer service, but also there's so much of this stuff that the average person who's, after all, just simply a consumer doesn't understand. I mean, you sit here, you talk about data and bytes and megabytes and gigabytes and all that sort of. The average person, you go, all right, you kind of know that mega is millions, giga is tens of millions, all that stuff, but it just goes over people's heads.
Yep.
The translation, the simple question that most people will ask, we've got myself and my wife in the house.
Yep.
The grandkids come over twice a week and they want to watch Netflix and do the other things and maybe play their games. Are we going to have enough capacity for that? Right?
Yeah.
And that's the way they're going to frame the question, and that's the answer they're looking for. Do I have enough capacity, bearing in mind how much use we have?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, so it is possible to get a rough idea, so you can come up with an estimate of, okay, so we'll be watching Netflix 3 or 4 hours a day, or maybe 25 hours a week or something like that, whatever it is. And you should be able to work out your usage based on that. And then another.
Why do we even charge for data? I mean, this is virtual. It's not like, for example, charging for water, where you're actually charging for a physical commodity
resource. Yeah, it's
right?
Exactly. It's not a finite resource.
We're simply charging for something that flows down, is virtual.
Yep.
It flows down cables or flows down fibre optics in binary.
Yep.
Fibre optics had huge capacity in the 1980s. How much capacity have they got now?
Exactly.
Why,
I don't know.
Why do we even talk about? Why are we even talking about how much data people have got and data allocations?
Yeah.
Are we not really just talking nonsense in reality?
Yeah.
In the sense of, we're going to charge you for this data. What, you're going to charge me for something that virtually flows through fibre optic cables at the speed of light?
Yeah, that's right. And then the NBN is going to charge extra. Bastards. Anyway, sorry.
I'll just cool him down a sec.
This is Oliver Peterson.
The biggest interview I've landed so far was former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, and the enormity what comes with interviewing a Prime Minister live in the studio and having the television cameras in the studio as well, because it's an important opportunity. We don't hear from Prime Ministers very often in Western Australia, and being able to interview the then Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull live in the studio was, hopefully it's one of many interviews we get to do with the Prime Ministers here in Perth.
Oliver Peterson, back on Perth Live this Monday from 3. News Talk 6PR.
Have you ever wondered how you can bring more happiness into your retirement? Hi there, I'm Dr. Tim Sharp, Australia's very own Dr. Happy, and an expert in positive ageing. I've been working with Sanaz Retirement Living to help address this exact question. And together, we've created the Live Happy approach to retirement living. It's all about providing the very best lifestyle so every day is as enjoyable as possible. To see how Sanaz is helping their residents towards a happier retirement, visit sanazretirementliving.com.au today.
From art to antiques and farm equipment to furniture, there's only one place you can get it all under one roof, Ross's Auctions. If it's a bargain you're wanting, search online for Ross's Auctions. Why pay retail? Head down to Ross's. There's an auction every week. Auction dates available at auctions.com.au. Ross Auctioneers and Valuers, serving Perth since ages ago. Visit the team at 453 Orong Road, Welshpool. Ross's Auctions.
DL 5681.
Looking to renovate your home? Don't just renovate it, ProFormat. Need new custom cabinets for your home or work office? ProFormat. A new and stylish kitchen? ProFormat. Updating your bathroom or your laundry? ProFormat. Looking for locally manufactured custom cabinets? ProFormat. Even a new wardrobe space for your home. ProFormat. Proform Custom Cabinet Production. The perfect fit.
This is the 6PR Community Bulletin Board, proudly brought to you by Hyundai. All day, every day, WA.
The Reading Writing Hotline is there to help adults who have difficulties with reading, writing or spelling. So take the plunge. Call now on 1300 655 06. Bayswater Community Men's Shed is welcoming new members. Enjoy woodworking, metalwork and socialising every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday from 8:30am to 12:30pm. Pop in for a cuppa at 21 King Street, Bayswater. The Westerners Blind Golf Club caters for blind and visually impaired people of all ages and ability levels. Join them for social golf at Lake Claremont Short Course each Friday morning. Call Bob on 0403 753 474.
Do you have something happening in your community? Promote it on the 6PR Community Bulletin Board. Email details to community@6pr.com.au. Proudly brought to you by Hyundai. All day, every day, WA. 6PR, part of your community.
This is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley on 882 6PR.
And welcome to it, 922 11 882, the telephone number. Joined by Ben Aylett, talking technology and basically metaphorically throwing rocks at the NBN. G'day,
They
Ross.
started it.
Yeah, they did. G'day, Ross.
Yeah, hi guys. Hi, Chris and Ben. Yeah, just Chris, your point before really struck a chord. When you think about, as you say, the data flows down through whatever means it does anyway, and you look at the plans that these people offer, and they'll say 100 gig is $59.99 a month, and 500 gig is $89.99 a month, but it doesn't cost them $30 more to provide that extra data. It's already there, so it's just a rort. It's just crazy. What do you think?
I reckon when you have a look at the profit margins that some of these people are making, you understand why. Because they're, you know, seriously, how much more, Ben, does it take to shove 500 gigs down the pipe than it does to shove 5 gigs down the pipe?
Well, yeah, you wouldn't think much.
I mean, it's all virtual. It's not physical. It's not like saying how much will it take to shove 50 litres of water down a hose pipe or how much will it take to shove 500 litres, where you're actually having to shovel something that is physically there.
Yeah.
This is virtual. Binary, zeros and ones and zeros.
Yeah, and look, there are some technical limitations, and that really comes down to the infrastructure, how much it can handle in a certain period of time. But if you're not too worried about how long it takes, sure. I mean, a petabyte is not going to take much more as far as infrastructure goes as an exabyte does. It's just going to take longer.
And bearing in mind that it's travelling at 186,484 miles a second, or roughly about 300,000 kilometres a second, which essentially means it could effectively go around the world 4 times before you could hear somebody shouting at you from the next room. So speed isn't really an issue, is it?
No, it's not speed. That's right. It's not speed, but it is bandwidth. So the size of the hose does have an impact.
But we're talking about fibre optics here, Ben. Fibre optics have got huge capacity.
They do have huge capacity, but also that capacity is limited. There is still an upper limit to how much you can jam down a line at any point in time.
Wirelessly, you have limits, but in terms of cable, your limits are far less. You're far less limited by cable than you are by wireless.
True. They're not as restrictive as wireless because we do have things like you've got to have shared bandwidth, and you've also got footprint size, and that is a factor. But anyone who
I reckon we're being sold a pup. I really do.
With the data allowances, I believe we are.
Yeah.
But when it comes to speed and how much we can jam down a line, no, that is actually limited by physics. With our Ethernet, typically most Ethernet systems around the home is 100 megabits per second or a gigabit per second. That's the maximum you can get pushed down a particular
Mate, I'd love a gigabit a second. I'll tell you what, I'll compromise. I'll go you halves. I'll take 500 megabits a second.
Deal. Yep.
Right? And if that's the case, we're going to have lightning
fast
internet at that speed.
But there is still a limitation on the bandwidth. Now, the capacity, the download, the data caps, I'm still trying to find ways that I can understand how a data cap exists and how we can have a limit on the amount we can download in a certain period of time.
Holy internet plan, Batman. If you can't get how it exists, how's everyone else going to do it?
I don't know. It's just tough because sometimes I think I'm getting a straight answer, sometimes I don't. It is difficult because telecommunications is an incredibly complex business.
Yeah, and too many numpties in overseas call centres are left in charge of it.
That's a whole
reading from an
new
idiot card
subject.
system.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means that even when somebody like you who does know something has a conversation with them, you're listening to, have you checked that it is plugged in?
Yeah.
Right, you got a thing there. If no, go to question 2. If yes, go to question 3. Oh my God, spare me.
Yeah.
By the way, got an email here from Ryan. He says, interesting here in the tech segment tonight, we get a call annually from Vodafone to check our plan and offer upgrades.
Yeah.
The providers still do some great service. We have various loyalty discounts with Vodafone and are very happy with their service.
Huh. Okay.
So there you go.
That's right.
All right.
It doesn't
Thumbs
take
up
much.
to Vodafone. They're actually bothering to follow up with their customers.
That's right. It doesn't take much. It's just a phone call.
No.
It means so much.
But here's the key. The working of a phone call like that is dependent on the person on the other end of the phone actually knowing what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep.
And I'm sorry, this idea that you can just employ people to read idiot cards is a nonsense.
Yeah. Hey,
Whatever happened to employing people with product knowledge?
And you know what? The smart sales operator in Australia, whether they're working for Telstra or Vodafone or whoever, if they're working at a retail store and if they have access to the customer database, they can start calling people as their plans come up towards renewal, and then they can start proactively looking at what's available, what they can help this
Well, let's just imagine you at Telstra and you get a call and you go, oh, it's Chris here from the Telstra shop, whichever shopping centre.
Yep.
I noticed, Mr. Ailey, your plan's coming up due.
Yeah.
Do you know, and let's say, I don't know, whether you're iPhone or Android, doesn't really matter.
Yep.
Let's say you're Android, right, we've got this deal on a Samsung S10.
Yeah, that's right. We've just had the Galaxy S10
and we can flip you over to an S10.
Yep.
And it's not going to cost you any more.
Yeah.
And this is how the plan works.
Yep.
Right. So what I've done is I've now got you for another 2 years as a customer.
There you go.
And what's it cost me? A phone call.
Yeah.
I'm with Telstra. The phone call hasn't cost me anything.
Yeah, there you go. Salespeople, that's a free one for you guys.
Beautiful. All right, we'll have a chat next week.
I'll catch you there.
By the way, don't forget, benaylett.com is the website. It's on benaylett.com. You will find all of the contact information.
At Yes Loans, unlike the...